Hey, I'm Jam.
I'm Jason.
Welcome back to Podcast for Your Life.
Yeah, Podcast for Your Life, the podcast that's so short you probably won't accrue any PTO, paid time off, during this conversation.
Man, that sucks.
Sorry, guys.
It's a huge bummer.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, just goes by that fast.
Wow.
But speaking of PTO, what are we talking about today, Jam?
We're talking about PTO. I'm just kidding. We're talking about
That's right. How to get more PTO.
a parent-teacher organization or whatever.
How to hack the system and get yourself some more paid time off.
We're talking about vacations.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I've got my bags packed. I don't know about you, but I think this is going to be a good conversation.
Me too. Nice. Okay, yeah. So what are vacations?
Vacations are like trips to another place that you pay for
For fun?
for fun.
For leisure, something like that? It's got to be in that category, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you could pay for food and lodging at home, or you could go pay for it in another place.
That's true.
Vacations.
Yeah, vacations. Also, I think an important thing is that you're not working. Sometimes
It's true.
Sometimes that's the
right,
only
right. Yeah.
thing that people care about. They're like, vacation to me just means I'm not working,
Yeah.
you know? And also, why? Why do we have vacations?
Sure. I don't know. Because it's interesting because your average job isn't as maybe strenuous or labor intensive as it was 100 years ago, 200 years ago.
Right.
So I think it's just like a way for people to like spend their money and take a break from the daily grind.
You're right. Jobs are not as strenuous or like physically stressful or whatever. However, stress in general, I think, is at an all-time high. Like, I think it's, workaholic, American dream, whatever you want to say. But I think in general, for some reason, as a culture, we're at a higher level of stress than we ever were before.
Sure.
Even though so much of our lives are pretty in balance and like we don't have to worry about like, is there going to be a famine? We don't have to worry about that kind of stuff.
That's true.
As
So
much,
far.
so far. And I'm not trying to downplay it, but like it is kind of interesting that like that stress levels are higher. Heart disease and some of the related things, stomach ulcers that come, all that stuff that can kind of related to stress is at an all-time high. So it's weird.
Yeah. And I bet people didn't have, like, they probably had, their work weeks weren't like 40-hour work weeks, a lot of jobs were probably, like farming or working in a city or factory or running a restaurant. So maybe more like blue collar jobs. But even like the farther back you go, you might find that because people weren't like on the clock 8 to 5, they could chill out during the day or during the week. Like,
or mix family time with work because they'll be like, I'm farming, but I eat lunch with my family every day or whatever. It's like,
or like before they had like jobs, they probably had just like, I work the land. So today I have to go milk the cows. Tomorrow I have to go.
And there's seasons where it's more intense and there's seasons where it's less intense. Like, like the winter, there's not a lot you can do other than try to keep the animals alive.
It's true.
Keep them fed, but you're not going to be like planting or harvesting in the winter. So it's like kind of interesting.
It's like if you're living off the land, then it's almost like you're like half vacationing, half working the whole time.
Yeah.
Like all the time.
That's what I've kind of wondered. I was wondering, like, is vacationing kind of like this 20th century idea that like people like now we travel for fun, but back in the day, wouldn't they just travel because they needed to? It's like, I have to travel here because like the opportunities are better.
Yeah.
Or we know some people probably traveled for fun, but like I bet that was like the richest of the rich.
Right. Because it probably cost money or resources or time.
Yeah.
And it's like, I can't leave the farm because I need to, make sure that we have enough food. And nowadays, everything's kind of more based off of money versus the livestock I have or the,
It's moved from this like kind of rich people thing to even if you don't take like a really lavish vacation, it is kind of in the like middle class assumption kind of thing. It's like you assume that as a middle class family that they're going to take a vacation at some point. That might not be true, but that's like the category it's in now. Instead of being like, wealthy people take vacations,
family vacations.
Yeah.
Yep. There you go. That's how it works.
It's kind of interesting. So I guess we invented it.
That's right. Congratulations, America, or the Western world, or whoever invented it.
We started stressing ourselves out way too much over things that aren't as important as like growing food in a field. And then we're like, man, I've got to take a break from this. Like, let me spend some money and let's go live somewhere else for a week or two.
Yeah.
And I'll take my whole family with me.
There you go. Wow.
It's weird.
So here's a question.
Okay.
In-town vacations or staycations, are they really vacations?
So I would say it hits the definition of not working. But I think there's so many of us who would be tempted to like not have a restful time doing a staycation. I think some people can handle it. I think I would busy myself and then not feel rested.
Sure. Or like you're still at home. So it's like, I got to do that load of laundry or whatever. Yeah. They're pretty interesting. Yeah. I've heard some people who, I've known some people who have really restful times with staycations.
Yeah.
And so I think it's possible, but
I think so too. And
sounds interesting.
Yeah. And I'm in a season right now where I'm at home a lot. Like I'm working on projects from home almost exclusively, or coffee shops. And so it does feel to me, I think that would feel like any other day.
Sure.
But if I was at an office all day, every day, it might actually feel kind of nice to be at home for one entire week or 2 weeks. True. So maybe it is just vacations should be really different from what your daily life is like.
Yeah.
So maybe that's all it needs to be.
Vacations are just changing it up. Vacations are just paying to change it up.
Temporarily.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get into it. Ready?
Yeah.
The most controversial type of vacation. The most middle class American vacation there is.
Going to the state park.
Cruises.
No.
Yep. Cruises. What do you think?
Like as a vacation?
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't really interest me. So like it depends on like what a vacation looks like for you. Vacation could be, I want like 100% relaxation. I want all my needs to be met, food, water, shelter. But vacation could also be like, I want to go exploring. I want to go see new things, sightseeing.
Yeah.
Try new whatever, visit a different culture, whatever. And you can get probably a little bit of both on a cruise.
Yeah.
But to me, a cruise, it just seems like, I don't know, like it's a very specific offer. And that's like just for, from a package standpoint. But when it comes to like cruises themselves, I don't know. I feel like I'm a little bit jaded against them because of just things I've heard from how they're set up and the business of cruises. And so that kind of pushes it back. So the idea of like, hey, all of your food is covered. You have unlimited fun on board and it's a big enough ship so you're not going to feel that claustrophobic.
Yeah.
It sounds great. And they usually charge pretty cheap, but I don't know. I don't think. Yeah. And what's weird is I love the ocean.
Really?
I love boats. But the idea of a cruise doesn't appeal to me personally. So.
Well, that was...
so that opinion set sail.
Yeah. So that set sail. That, I would say, is a pretty generous, pretty lax approach to compare to how I feel about cruises.
Oh, man.
Oh, my gosh. I do not like them. I wish they did not exist.
Oh, man.
It feels to me like such an American approach. And I'm not trying to use that word always as a negative one, but like, let's put an amusement park hotel.
Sure.
Make it float.
Yeah.
And you know what? You can visit some other countries, but don't worry. You can come right back to the boat. You don't have to feel like you have to stay in someone else's culture for very long if you don't want to. It makes you too uncomfortable. And it just feels so
Dang.
like that's how it feels to me. Like it's like the safest thing in every way.
Sure. It's like, we'll hold your hand through the Grand Cayman Islands.
And I'm not saying anything's wrong about wanting to just relax. Like, but my thought would be like, okay, go stay in a nice hotel somewhere and go do that somewhere.
And but I think it's because cruises are significantly cheaper than like staying at a all-inclusive resort.
Right. Yeah, a lot of people do say the cheapness thing, but like if someone's going to cite the like, oh, I really want to visit, the Caribbean and visit these other islands, my thought would be like, dude, go stay on those islands. Go stay on like 1 or 2 islands for like a week or whatever.
The extra expense might be worth the adventure.
Yeah, and it might not even be that much more expensive if you, I don't know. Yeah. I'm not positive, but like if you do it right and you get to understand and see a culture and an area really well. Get to eat the local food, not get to eat the like, you know, hamburgers on the
close stuff to the pier
on the ship or whatever. So I really don't like cruises. I kind of just feel like I'm amazed that this is so big and taking off so long. I remember seeing those earliest ads when I was a kid and kind of feeling like that's not going to last. That's basically they're trying to be like Disney World on a boat. But I guess I should have thought that like, well, Disney World's doing fine. So yeah,
they are, especially with that new Star Wars stuff.
And here's one reason why. I'll say this too, because I think this is a good qualifier. So one time I took a trip in high school. It was with our art club. We went to Europe. We stayed a few days in each town. By a few, I mean like 3 to 4. By town, I mean city. Like started out in London, went to Paris, went down to Florence, and then went over to Rome. Because it was so like boom, 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 boom on the road kind of deal, and seeing all these different areas. And like in that small space, I mean, Europe's pretty packed, but like there's a lot of different cultures going on. I feel like I actually didn't get a good like idea of what any of them were like. Because it was such a like
quick,
skate over kind of deal. And so to me, cruises are exactly that. And and even if we disagree about, you know, some people want certain things out of vacation, some people want other things. I feel like it doesn't feel worth it to me to visit any of the places that a cruise might be on, because I would feel the same way as I did that Europe trip. I'm like, man, I'm just not going to get a good representation of like what it's like here.
Sure.
And so I've had the approach since then.
Yeah.
Of anytime I go somewhere, I want to go to the one place, the one country, the one like state or area or whatever,
and dig in.
So
that's cool.
No offense if that's not your deal.
Yeah. I think it also could be a generational thing. Like I know some folks who have done cruises for various reasons. And I have friends who are, you know, my generation, they've loved going on cruises and stuff. So I'm not saying that it's like, oh, millennials don't like cruises or whatever. But I think it also has to do with like your sense of adventure, or like what a vacation looks like to you. Because when my wife and I have done vacations, we've done like a ton of research beforehand on the place, and we want to find like the cheap Airbnbs, and we want to find the cool local restaurants, and the one that have good ratings and stuff like that. And what's like a special place to go here? And to us, that's like fun to find those little places and then experience them.
Totally.
And you probably could do some research ahead of time for cruises, but I feel like being like free to kind of, we can go wherever we want. We don't have to be, you know, we can go back to our Airbnb whenever we want. We don't have to be back on the ship by a certain time.
Right.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's cool. And it like takes some work for sure, because you have to plan this about yourself and find it yourself.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's worth it. Em and I are about to do in just 5 days. Actually, when you guys hear this, we'll already be there.
Wow.
But we're going to go to New Zealand.
No way.
And it's our first international trip together.
Incredible.
And just our biggest vacation in general that we've done. We've done one almost every year just in the States. And
Down under.
And we're gonna stay in a camper van the entire time.
Oh, that's cute.
So we're going all in on the adventure. So we'll see how it goes.
Oh, that's really adventurous.
We'll see how it goes. We might determine that this is not the kind of vacation we want to do again.
I thought you would stay in like a little hobbit hole or something.
No, I would love to. We are going to visit the hobbit holes, but so we'll be staying
the Shire.
We'll be driving a car around that has a bed in the back. It's kind of like that simple. So.
Oh,
that's what a camper van is.
Okay, I totally was thinking it was like a little small pop-up camper or an RV, but it's like one of those things that has a thing on the back of the
Well, kind of, yeah. So basically, it looks just like you know what I mean when I say church van.
Yeah,
it's like, I guess it's the 12 passenger vans or whatever.
That's so adorable.
That's what it is. So it's obviously big, but it's not massive. It's not an RV.
Yeah,
it doesn't look like what you think of as an RV.
Yeah. So. Well, that's crazy. Well, if things don't work out, you can always ask Frodo for... Can we stay with you tonight?
Yeah.
They're taking the camper to Isengard.
Oh, gosh.
Well, I guess we've got enough sun for one day, so we can pack up our blankets and our sandals and go back to the cottage. The camper. The camper.
Okay.
The camper van.
Okay, perfect.
Anywho, thank you guys so much for listening. A big thanks to David in Texas for suggesting this topic. If you guys ever have any suggestions, please send them our way. We'd love to hear them.
Absolutely. David, hope you don't like cruises. Sorry about that. All right, bye.
Come sail away. All right, cool.